Some 3,000 rocky mountain peaks soar high above the ground. This stunning site, located in Zhangjiajie, a part of the Hunan province in China, was formed by earth and water over a period of several 100 million years. UNESCO declared this area a World Natural Heritage Site in 1992. The mountains have various shapes, and there are many streams which flow between them. This area has the appearance of a forest made up of mountains. For eons, Zhangjiajie has been a world unto itself, relatively isolated and peaceful. However, there are also people who live in this secluded region. They live in an area called Kangjiang Tianyuan, or Heavenly Garden. People have long viewed Zhangjiajie as an area of unusual beauty. The city of Zhangjiajie lies in the northwest part of the Hunan province. It is typical of provincial cities in China. It has only recently gained worldwide recognition for its beauty. This area became famous as a result of a painting. Created in 1980 by the well-known modern Chinese painter Wu Guanzhong, the painting depicts Zhangjiajie. The work captures the dramatic mountain peaks and the clouds and mist that floats between them. Through this piece of art, these relatively unknown mountains suddenly became renowned for their powerful beauty. This road leads to Zhangjiajie. The landscape is relatively flat at first. About halfway up the road, however, the mountains quickly appear on the horizon. The road passes through a long tunnel. Tall, misty mountains come into view as we enter the Zhangjiajie area. The scene is overpowering. Mountain peaks thrust dramatically upwards like spears. Their rich, dark coloration is elegant and powerful. Mist slowly passes through and around the peaks, its shape perpetually teased by the winds that blow through here. The swirling mist can also change the appearance of the peaks themselves from one instant to another. This landscape masterpiece was painted 1,000 years ago. Rocky mountains rise in the center of the painting. To the right is a powerful waterfall. Mist rises up from the valley and mountain streams are visible beneath it. This landscape is near and dear to the hearts of the Chinese. This painting, and others similar to it, were created by artists from their imaginations. It was not believed that such idyllic beauty could truly exist. However, Zhangjiajie possesses precisely the picture-perfect beauty they idealized. The village of Zhangjiajie lies deep within the precipitous mountains. Here, atop cliffs over 3,000 feet above sea level, farm fields have been built on narrow strips of land. The village is rarely visited by outsiders. The Zhangjiajie people, one of the ethnic minorities found in China, live here. The name Zhangjiajie means people living deep in the mountains. Today, about 5,000 from this group live in the mountains of Zhangjiajie. Both their lifestyle and language have changed greatly over time due to interactions with the Chinese ethnic majority population. The Zhangjiajie are proud of their culture and are well known for embroidery, one of their traditional crafts. Peng Li is learning to embroider. It used to be customary for the women of Zhangjiajie to embroider a pattern onto a pair of shoe inserts and present these inserts to the man they loved. This tradition was passed on from mother to daughter, generation after generation. Today, few of the young women learn this craft. According to legend, 700 years ago, King Xiong, the leader of the Zhangjiajie people, began a revolt against the leader of the Ming dynasty. He established an independent kingdom in the Zhangjiajie region and gave himself the title of emperor. The leader of the Ming dynasty was enraged by these actions, and he subjected King Xiong and the rest of the Zhangjiajie to severe oppression. King Xiong, remaining defiant, committed suicide by throwing himself from a tall mountain peak. This is where King Shang ended his life. This ravine is 1,300 feet deep. No one has entered it since King Zhang committed suicide here. The Tujia were saddened by his death, and in a show of mourning, they named various mountain peaks after him. Shengwan Guangshu. This rock reminded the people of the king, as seen reading a book. Yubifeng, named for the writing brush used by the king in his work governing his people. The rock formations and mountains range in height from about 150 to almost 1,000 feet. This area is 150 square miles wide. There are 3,000 mountain peaks, resembling rows of spears. It is named the Forest of Peaks because of its unique appearance. There are few areas like this, and it is a valuable resource for geological study. Geologists from around the world have marveled at Zhangjiajie. A professor at the China Science Academy has spent many years studying the unique geological resource of Zhangjiajie. Professor Wang Dao Jing explains that at one time this area was covered by sea.
During
the period of time beginning 400 million years ago and ending 350 million years ago, this area was covered by a sea. Soil and sand from the shore settled on the sea bottom. Over time, this deposit turned into quartz sandstone.
The surrounding land sank, and rivers carried a type of quartz sand into the sea. The sand accumulated, and hard layers of quartz sandstone were formed. Later, the earth shifted again, and this time the underwater area was pushed to the surface. Through a series of such tectonic shifts, a layer of limestone formed on top of the quartz sandstone. Next, wind and water ate away at the limestone. The sandstone underneath became exposed, and it started to crack. Eventually, large pieces crumbled and fell away. After a very, very long period of time, the present landscape was formed. There is still some limestone remaining here. Researchers believe that after several 100 million more years pass, this limestone will also disappear, and another forest of mountain peaks will be left behind.
Now 66米的高度啊，这边是一个高度显示器，可以随时知道自己的位置。99米了，马上就要出洞口了，可以做一下准备。
tourist accommodations have been developed quickly over the past few years.
有一处的石峰排得很整齐，像士兵列队一样。那么这就是张家界的有名景点之一——神兵聚会。神兵聚会相传是土家族起义领袖项王天子的天兵天将转化而来的。他们是由48个相对独立的山峰组成的，所以呢，我们也叫它48大将军岩。随着电梯的向上升高，我们可以看到对面山上呢还有白色的小房子出现了啊。那里面呢居住着当地的农民，他们在山上耕种生活，所以呢，我们称它为空中田园啊。目前我们在297米的高度。
This elevator reaches up to a height of 1,000 feet and is the longest outdoor elevator in the world. Each year, more than 1 million tourists visit this area. There are also cable cars which run from the base of the mountain to its peak. The hike to the top of the mountain used to take 3 hours. Now, visitors can enjoy a comfortable 10-minute ride. The road leading up the mountain was also built with tourists in mind. Even on top of this cliff, the path remains flat and easy to walk upon. The Tujia who live near the tourist attractions engage in a variety of businesses. Some sell stones from the area, and some dress in their traditional attire and take pictures with the visitors. This cliff is almost 1,000 feet high. This man earns a living by climbing the rock face. His name is Li Shreli. He's a 50-year-old Tujia. Rock fungi grow on steep rock faces. They are an unusual mountain delicacy. Here in Zhangjiajie, This type of fungus has almost disappeared. The fungi Mr. Lee sells to tourists actually come from other areas. From the age of 18, he had harvested this fungus for a living. However, he can no longer do so. There are now ordinances aimed at preserving the natural flora and fauna of the area, which prevent the taking of these natural resources. So 5 years ago, he started a new line of work. Using his rock climbing skills, he decided to put on performances for the tourists. For each performance, he earns about $7 US, and he performs up to 20 times in a single day. There are 800 mountain streams in Zhangjiajie. The water supports countless plants and animals. One of these streams, called Zhangjiajie, is a particularly rich source of water for the area. This stream is 12 miles long. Its waters flow all year round. We've found a friend in the stream, a salamander. These ancient animals have roamed the earth for 400 million years, but are now in danger of extinction around the globe. They are only found in China, Japan, and America. The heaviest concentration of salamanders in all of China is here in the river streams of Zhangjiajie. A program has been initiated to preserve the salamanders. In 1998, China's first salamander conservation center was set up here. In order to protect these animals from extinction, scientists here are pursuing the difficult task of breeding the animals in captivity. The sound of a rushing river stream can always be heard at the center. Researchers believe that this noise has a calming effect on the salamanders and allows them to procreate. Researchers are conducting a study on the salamanders in order to better understand them, with hopes of using this knowledge to help preserve this animal. In 2002, researchers attached location devices to young salamanders and then released them. Since then, they have tracked their movements in the wild. Beneath the mountains, another type of mysterious world awaits. An underground river flows here. A tremendous limestone cavern is located about 4,000 feet from the entrance. This is called a dragon palace. These are stalagmites, rock structures in the shape of strange mushrooms. Some 1,700 stalagmites form a forest of rock covering an area of 39,000 square feet. The tallest stalagmite stands over 60 feet tall. It has taken more than 200,000 years for it to reach this height. And it will take another 60,000 years for it to grow up to the cave ceiling. The rock formations hanging downwards from the ceiling are stalactites. Water dripping from the ceiling contains calcium carbonate, and this is what forms these interesting rock structures. Eventually, after enough time has passed, the stalagmites and stalactites will grow longer until they meet. The stalagmites only grow at a rate of 0.007 inches per year, so it takes them 5,000 years to grow 3 feet. There are almost 8 inches of space between this stalagmite and this stalactite, so it will take another 400 years before they join together. This is the magnificent view as seen from a mountain peak. The clouds and mist can also make for arresting scenery. It is morning. A light rain has just stopped falling, and the mountain peaks are enshrined in clouds and mist. In the summertime, a cool breeze blows across Zhangjiajie, atop the mountain peaks. Young Tujia are singing for a special celebration. Today, there is an engagement ceremony. As part of the ceremony, the couple will face each other and sing. The lyrics they sing to one another, they make up on the spot. The bride, Pan Yuan Hua, was born and raised here. She is 21. The groom is 22 years old. Together with other members of his family, he runs a hotel which caters to tourists. The bride and groom first met when they were in high school together. Firecrackers announce that another custom has begun: the ceremonial exchange of engagement gifts. The bride serves hard-boiled eggs to the groom's guests. When the groom's relatives finish eating the eggs, they place money in their bowls. The groom passes out cigarettes and greets the bride's relatives. At 10 in the morning, the banquet begins. The men raise a toast. They pray for the happiness of the couple, and they also set a wedding date. In this part of the ceremony, the gifts from the family members are arranged, and the wedding is announced to the couple's ancestors. As an offering to the ancestors, paper, which represents money, is burned. Just as in days long past, ancestors are held in reverence. Autumn comes late to this region. In November, hints of fall begin to appear. Fall is a season of rain. Because of incessant rains, the rice harvest has been postponed this year. However, if the villagers wait for the rains to stop, they will lose the rice crop they have worked so hard to produce. so they firm up their resolve and head to the fields. The fields are not large, so the harvest goes quickly. The rice is threshed right here in the field. With today's harvest, the year's farm work is finished. As part of the effort to preserve the area, the people who live in Kongjiang Tianyuan will soon be required to move. Tomorrow is the long-awaited wedding day. The bride's relatives will gather to offer their blessings. This is the last day the bride will spend here. These wedding gifts are from her relatives. After the sun sets, wailing can be heard. This ceremony expresses the sorrow of the bride, who will soon leave her parents behind. The bride had been pretending to cry. However, during the ceremony, she has become sad, and now she starts to cry real tears. The morning of the wedding. The groom has arrived. He will take the bride to his house where the wedding will be held. The groom's village is about 6 miles away from the bride's house. The bride won't walk. Her soon-to-be husband will carry her, piggyback. Eggs are passed out with wishes that the young couple have many children. The bride has married into a good family. She will move to this relatively prosperous village where today she will begin a new life. Bride and groom will work together to build a happy household. The wedding ceremony will last well into the night.